Hey, welcome to the Hank Cisco Show, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you know this show is going to be all about China. We're going to talk about traditions. We're going to talk about festivals and what's going on in China, okay? So I like to start off with this little novelty song, China, China, Chinatown, when the lights are low. That's all I know. Okay, my guest today, directly from China, well, formerly from China, Chen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, she is, now let me put my glasses on here, so a little background here so know what we've got. Okay, and she is the Vice President of the International Partnership in Education. Now, what does that mean?
Well, it's a company. We do international exchange programs, educational exchange programs. So we basically take American teachers to China.
You take teachers?
Correct. American educators to China over the summertime, and they will conduct like 3 weeks teaching in China to Chinese high school students. Basically teach them conversational English.
In other words, it's an educational problem not only for the teachers, they go over and teach over there, right? And in the meantime, they come back with that experience,
right?
To
and
share
share
here in
with,
America,
yeah,
right?
So,
correct. Okay, well, hey, I got this hat here. What are the traditions of these hats? What's the story on this?
This is the traditional Chinese hat I think for men.
For men?
Yeah.
Well, what do they wear? Is this Halloween or something or what?
It's just a tradition hat.
Little tradition.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
no
like
special purpose.
Like Robin Hood. He had like feathers in his hat.
Kind of like that.
Well,
yeah.
okay. Well, I'm going to keep it up until my head gets too hot, and then I'll take it off.
Yeah, you look
great. But just to remind you, we're talking about China. So, okay. Now, what's new? What's going on in China right now that you're aware of? Now, you go back each year, right? And you're highly educated. I say highly educated because I know your background. You've studied in England and China.
In China too.
So, and you live here, right here in Collegeville, right?
Yeah.
And you're happily married to John McBride, okay, who's a good friend of mine. And I want everybody to know that when they got married, my wife Dolores and I stood for them, right in the courthouse in Norristown, and Judge Smythe was the judge, okay? Just let you know, we're not coming from outer space. Now, what's new in China?
There is a festival coming up in next week, next Monday, I think.
On the 6th or so? Is that
correct, that
okay.
June 6th.
What happens on that?
It's called the Dragon Boat Day.
The what?
Dragon Boat Day.
Oh, okay. And then, all right, boat day. Now, what do you mean? What happens? Everybody gets in a boat and with dragon, or?
It's a boat. They decorated that boat, make the boat in the shape of a dragon.
Oh, okay.
And then they have the boat race.
Oh, the race.
It's a race,
okay.
Yeah. And also, there's a story about this festival.
Yeah, tell me.
It dated back to 2,000 years ago in China. There was a very famous scholar named Qu Yuan, and he was also a governor at that time. He gave advice to his king, but was ignored. And at the same time, he was slandered by his officials, and then so he was banished later. And then later, very sad was his country was conquered. And he was so sad that he drowned himself.
Oh, committed suicide.
Committed suicide. And then that was May the 5th in Chinese calendar.
So that's the celebration.
Not really celebration, and he was loved by people.
He was loved. Oh, okay. Then it's a memorial service or something.
Kind of like
remembrance.
that.
Remembrance.
Right, and people heard that news, and people were so sad. So they raced trying to row the boat, try to save him.
Oh,
so they beat the drum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they beat the drum to scare the fish away.
Oh!
But that didn't work.
The drums,
right.
The drums that chase the fish away.
Correct. So that fish won't eat the body, But then they didn't make that happen. So later they threw some rice into the river.
Rice.
Yeah. So into the river, and so the fish would not eat the body,
They would eat the rice.
the rice, right?
That's a pretty good idea.
So that's how we got this tradition. So on this Dragon Boat Day, we will have the Dragon Boat race. So you can.
That's a tradition. That's
Yeah, as
fun.
a tradition, and the people still do that race now.
But I never heard of, the next time I go fishing, I'm going to get a bag of rice and put it in there. Maybe the fish will go there, right?
Yeah, that could be.
I don't go fishing that much. Every time I go fishing, I get seasick, so forget about it, you know. But, okay, now that's one tradition. What other traditions you got?
And on this day, we have some special food we eat.
Food, okay, tell me
Yeah.
about the food. I'm very much
I know
interested
you
in
love
food.
that.
Like lasagna, raviolis, meatballs, no?
Oh, no, it's something with, have something to do with the rice.
Okay.
So we call that a 粽子.
What is it? Rice is a traditional, something sacred or something, what
It's
is
not, it's like in China, we basically have the northern part and the southern part. And in the southern part, the main starch for people, they eat rice.
it? Oh,
Like people here, you eat lots of potato and the bread.
oh, okay.
But people
Over there it's-
in
yeah.
China, in the southern part, the main starch is the rice.
Yeah, like in Africa, I think that bananas, you know, like banana bread, like give us the prayer of, give us our daily bread, you know, and the prayer. And then they say, give us our daily bananas. So bananas had a
Their
lot
main
there to be
food.
able to eat that. So rice in China, where there's banana trees, you know, wherever.
That's interesting.
And then the spaghetti, that comes over in Italy, you know. That's something else on that, you know. But I love to hear that, you know. All right, go. What else goes on that tradition?
So we just eat that 粽子. 粽子 is some sticky rice wrapped with bamboo leaves. So that's something.
What kind of leaf?
Bamboo leaves.
Bamboo leaves.
Yeah. So
in
you
other words,
wrap it.
all we know about a bamboo is a bamboo rod, but they have
It's
leaves.
a huge leaf,
then-
and
and
then
that's
you wrap the
edible?
rice in it. No, you do not. You do not eat the leaves, but you eat the rice inside it.
And you cook it,
You cook it,
and then
and then you unwrap
Oh, okay.
it and eat the
well,
something
the Polish,
inside.
they have a pig in a blanket. They have the ground meat and a little thing, and then they have the cabbage, but they eat the whole thing. You know? Little tradition,
Well, this
you know?
is something, one kind of Chinese food. So you do not eat the leaf, but
No.
just the rice in the middle.
And what else do they do there? On that one?
I think that's all for this one.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. Then they do, what, how about, let me see, I got a couple here. What else you got here? You got China Day. What's that for? That it says here, what do people do nowadays in China? What?
Just for this festival, people just eat 粽子, eat that food, and then we do the dragon boat race.
Yeah.
And when the race is going on, you can hear that drum beating, and also you can hear firecrackers.
Oh, yeah,
And
firecrackers.
yeah.
What is it, firecrackers?
I think it's a kind of encouragement, and then you are trying to cheer up your team, to make them to get the first place.
Well, the Native Americans, they do with a lot of drums, boom, 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 And in China, I remember I went to something down on Main Street. I think it's Korean, Japanese, and they have a lot of. Guy was going with the drums, really good. Sound like Gene Cooper, You remember Gene Cooper? You know him. He was a big band leader here in the United States. So, all right, now. Not to jump from one thing to another, but you have the food, you have the noise. How about the dancing? Do they?
In some part of China, they do have lion dance and dragon dance. I think dragon dance is
Well, the dragon.
more.
Yeah, I see that sometime down in Chinatown where they get the dragon and they go through the street with 3 or 4 people in
With
it.
lots of
What's
people.
the tradition that? To scare people? Or what's the significance of a
It's
dragon?
just representing the movement of the dragon. So, dragon is not a real animal, it's a kind of imagination. So they just do that dragon dance to kind of to display the movement of a dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
keep them alive, okay? All right, and then there's other traditions. What are, you got some other traditions? You have
and
other...
before this festival, we have another one, traditional one called a Tomb Sweeping Day.
What is it?
Tomb Sweeping Day.
Go ahead.
It happens in April 5th. So
April 5th.
yeah, April.
What
5th.
happens?
That is also the same like in Western calendar, the same date. So that day is a special day for people to pay a visit to their ancestors' tomb, and to dust the graveyard, and just to show their respect to their
What's the name of that?
tomb sweeping.
Tomb Sweeping Day.
Yeah.
In other words, they pick one day a year where people go to the cemetery
Yeah.
and brush off and clean up and put flowers or whatever.
Right, correct. And show their respect and kind of in the memory of their dear.
That is great. You
Yeah.
know, we people tradition to remember the people who passed away. You know, it's nice to go pay a visit, and it's
Right.
here they set a date where it's not mandatory, but it's kind of traditional, and tradition. People go along with traditions. They like that, you know, like 4th of July, you know, and all that stuff. But you know, people are. You never want to criticize somebody else's traditions, okay? I heard a story where this young fellow from China was working there, and he said to his boss, he wanted to get off to go visit the cemetery, the funeral. And so he says, okay, go ahead, you go to the funeral. So when he come back from the funeral, he said to the young Chinese boy, he says, well, he says, you know, their tradition is to put fruit on the
Right,
grave.
correct.
So that's food. When they go to heaven, they'll have food. Oh, that's a tradition. I don't knock anybody's tradition, okay? So he says, well, he says, did your friend come up and eat the fruit? He says, no, he didn't. He says, he didn't come up to eat the fruit. He says, well, how about your friend? When you put the flowers on the grave, did he come up and smell the flowers? You know, that makes you think. You don't knock somebody else's traditions,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
So just a little story I thought I'd throw in there, you know. That's a Cisco story. Okay, now, go ahead. What up now? We dust the tombs. People go over there. They meet people. When they go there, they'll meet their friends in the next tomb, and all. So it brings friendship,
Right.
and remembrance.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. What else? What else happens on that day? Anything else?
There's also kind of special food.
Special food on that day?
yeah.
Okay, tell me about the food. I love the food.
It's called Qing Tuan. It's a green rice ball.
Green rice ball.
Yeah. So
What keeps it together?
it's a kind of made of the sticky rice powder, and then you get all kinds of fillings in it. So you can get pork. Actually, it's sweet. So
Do you ever make this?
no, I never made this, but you know it's so
Well, I was
convenient
in your
now.
house, and you do a lot of, you cook a
make
lot
it.
of traditional food.
But that's not something I make.
You never did that,
No,
right?
I never
That's
make
an old
that.
tradition, right?
Well,
They keep it up. Are these traditions continued over there?
it's continuing in some part of China, but this kind of food is special in some certain
okay.
areas, not everywhere. And also in some areas, like a couple of days before this tomb sweeping day, hot food is not allowed. So
What is it? What?
hot food
Hot food.
not allowed.
Why?
So I don't know why, but it is called like
Somebody
cold.
said don't do it, and that's it.
Right, that's cold food day.
Oh, cold.
So just for 1 or 2 days before the
Oh, okay.
tomb sweeping day.
In other words, it's no hot food, cool.
Cold food.
Well, that's all right. So, you know, it's one thing about macaroni. You can eat it hot, you can eat it cold, you can eat it with meat, you can eat it with fish. You know, it's about everything, you know?
Yeah.
So, hot and cold, whatever, you know. All right, now, what else? Now, I got another festival. I love these festivals. I like these traditions with these different countries, and we ought to maybe latch on to some of these things. Go ahead.
And then after next Monday, after next Monday, the Dragon Boat Day, we will move on to September, October. There is one of the most important festivals in China called Mid-Autumn Day. Autumn Day. And it's also called the Moon Festival.
Food festival.
Moon. The moon in the sky. The moon.
Oh, the moon.
The moon, yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me turn this hat around a little bit. All right, go ahead. I get a little confused. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, now.
The Moon Festival.
The Moon Festival.
Right.
Okay.
So also.
My hearing aid. Hello. Anybody there? Right.
So the Moon Festival is also because it happens in the middle of the fall. So it is the harvest time. So that's also why we call that Mid-Autumn Day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it happens on August 15th.
August 15th.
In Chinese calendar.
Okay, now meat. They're going to meat. What, did they cook it? Did they broil it? They roast it? They boil it? Or?
We did not eat some special kind of meat, but we have a special kind of like dessert called moon cake.
The moon?
Cake. Cake.
Yeah.
Like a birthday cake,
but
it's a moon cake.
Okay, cake.
So it is round like the shape like the moon, and then it's kind of like this little big. It's very sweet, but because this festival is it's very important for Chinese people, is the day for people to get family reunion.
Oh,
so
that's family, getting families together.
Right.
What's the moon have to do with it?
Because there was a legend story, how we got this moon festival. So like in the ancient time, there was a lady, she stole the medicine from her husband and took that medicine, and then she could never die by eating that medicine. So, and then later she got so light in weight, and then she just flew all the way up to the moon.
Up to the moon.
And then stayed there forever. So, and then that's why we had that moon festival, because on every day, on that moon festival day, and children, they will hear the story again and again.
Right.
Talk about something with the moon.
Well, do these people gather in a big place, or is this tradition in the house, or they go to clubs or churches and to celebrate this? Is this just a...
It's a family celebration.
Okay.
So
it's
most
a
of the time...
spontaneous thing within the families. It's nothing...
Right.
It's not government...
No.
Don't have anything to do with that.
No, just family stuff. And then usually people will, family, they get together to have a dinner, and then they will sit outside to have some snacks, to have the moon cake, and they enjoy the bright moon, and tell some stories.
It must be beautiful. They have what? Is there anything that they make it like a happy scene or something, like flowers or whatever, paintings?
Not paintings, but we do have that lantern show. The lanterns.
What's that?
Lanterns. So you carry the lanterns.
Oh, the lanterns. Okay,
yeah.
Lanterns.
So you can see people, they have lantern fairs around in the city.
In the city. They hang them out in front of their house, or they walk with them, or?
You can walk with a lit one, a lighted one.
The lantern, what's the scoop about the lantern? I know we had on a Chinese New Year, we went over, we had a dinner, remember, a whole gang of us, we had a bunch of our friends, and we talked about some of the traditions, and we had little lanterns and everything, symbolic.
I think originally the lanterns were just for decoration, to make it more beautiful.
Okay.
But then later people just enjoy that lantern show, so they just have that tradition now.
Let me ask another thing. I've met maybe quite a few Asian people, and I'm 87, so I met a lot of the Chinese restaurants and stores and whatever, you know. The women, when they dress, the difference between the Japanese and the women have a high collar, and the Chinese have a. Tell me about that. What's the difference between the women dress?
The dress?
Yeah.
The traditional Chinese typical
Tradition.
one.
I'm talking about tradition. I'm not talking about the modern.
The typical one is called a qi pao.
For who? Is that Chinese?
For China.
All right. What do they call it?
Qi pao.
All right. Is that a dress like?
It's a dress, very fit that person's figure shape.
It's open like this?
It doesn't open like
Well,
this.
not open, but
so it goes
it's like
all the way up to
like
the
a
neck.
collar, or-
Yeah, high collar here.
Well, how about the Japanese? What do they have?
Japanese, I think they have that hefu. It's something like you wrap it like this way,
Okay,
cross
okay.
it
Yeah, that's
way.
what I'm trying to say. There's
Yeah,
difference
and
here,
then you
and the
have
other one's
a-
up a collar.
Right, and then for Japanese one, you have a waistband around your
That's
waist.
like the men wear cummerbund, I think, when the tuxedos, right? But the women wear, what do they call them?
That's for Japanese. The whole set is
Oh,
called.
that's Japanese. Okay.
Yeah, the whole set is called hefu.
Well, now, if you walk into a Korean restaurant, can you understand? If you order,
The food?
yeah, can you speak Korean?
No, I cannot.
All right. How about Japanese? No, right?
No.
What's the closest thing to China, another country, like in France and Italy and Spain? There's some words that are the same, like
Like
Korea, North Korea,
Korean,
South Korea.
Right, Korean and the Japanese, their language actually was from the Chinese language. So in some written form, we do have those symbols shows exactly the same. So sometimes, like when the Chinese and the Japanese or Korean, they could not communicate, could not understand each other in their spoken language. But when they write it down, they can kind of communicate.
Yeah, pick it up, yeah.
Yeah.
You pick up the little slant. Well,
Yeah.
that was something I was just wondering. I remember one time a friend of mine had a Chinese restaurant down on Sweet Street, and I remember his wife's father was a reverend in China. He used thousands of people has come to hear him speak. You know, he's great. All right. All right, what else? Now we got what other? Tell me about the bigger time.
The biggest one should be in the Chinese New Year. I
Oh,
think you
that's
know
what I
that.
wanna hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Chinese New Year. I know
Right.
we get together every Chinese New
Every
Year.
Chinese New
right.
Year, right?
All right. That's the most important, I guess, right?
I think so.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So the Chinese New Year, it's not the New Year like here we
Oh,
say.
no.
It's different. So Chinese New Year usually happens in January or February.
You get the two of them? You get 2 New Years?
Yeah, we do have 2 New Years. Yeah.
Well, I like that. I like that. Take us up. Hello. Barack Obama. Yeah, we should have 2 New Years. Okay. Make it a new Congress. Oh, we'll get
Well,
a law.
to be honest, like now in New York, some of their companies, they do have that Chinese New Year. They give them 1 day off.
Oh, they give them off.
Yeah.
Even though the American employees,
the employees,
and the employer
employees
will give them off and
will
show
have 1 day
respect.
off, right?
So, well, that's nice.
That's
you
nice,
know.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
But the Chinese New Year, what are some of the things? Do you take I'm not going to smoke the rest of the year. I'm not going to curse the rest of the year. Do you take
The
this
New Year
pledge?
resolution.
You do that?
Yeah, we do that too.
Well, how do you do that?
Usually you just tell yourself what I want to do in the new year, And usually, and also when we have a new semester, the school semester coming back, and the students, they go back to school, and then teacher will ask them to write an article about your New Year resolution.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hey, that's a great idea. In other
Well,
words,
it's
the
easy
teacher,
to-
Well, when do they do that? Before or after the?
After the Chinese New Year.
Oh, and they wanna
because
know.
you go back to school
Go back
after
to
the
school,
Chinese New Year.
And the teacher says, write what your resolutions or whatever. you know?
Right. So what do you decide to do
And
in
then,
the new
and then
year?
they got to stick with the rest of the year.
Not
Did
really.
you go back and check it and see if he's
No,
lying?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Well, it's something to think about. I think maybe
Yeah, but
teachers
it's
in
good.
Pennsylvania, after New Year's, ask them what the resolutions are and make sure they stick with it the rest of the year, okay? No biting, no kicking, no swearing, okay? Right. Okay? Now, what else? About school. What about school? Tell me a little bit about the schools in China.
The Chinese New Year, the schools, they will have 28 days off, about 4 weeks.
You take off from school?
4 weeks. So because in China, we have like summertime and also we have winter time. So winter time, we have 4 weeks off. So students, they can enjoy the whole
In
4
other words, they
weeks.
get 4 weeks off and then the rest they go to school.
They go back to school.
Now, here we get September, October. No, wait a minute.
You get
We get
2 weeks.
June, July, August. We get 3 months. You get 4 weeks. All right. Now, what is the happiest day of the year in China?
I would think that Chinese New Year
Chinese New Year's.
is a
right.
big celebration all over the country, and the kids, they can get lucky money. And
What's
the
lucky
people,
money?
Lucky money is the kind of money that the old generation will give to the young kids, and then they can use that money, do whatever they want. It's kind of like a reward, you know. You behave well for the past year, and then you get that reward.
Well, our half hour is over, and look, I want to thank you very much. And
You're
tell
welcome. I
John I
enjoyed
said
this.
hi, okay?
I will.
And ladies and gentlemen, we could go on and on. There's a lot she could be telling us about China, and we'll come back maybe in September, and we'll do it again or some more traditions about. I like to hear different traditions, different countries. So. And here's a little token of appreciation. I appreciate you hang out
Wow,
there
thank you
in
so
your
much.
office. And
It's a new
okay,
one.
and let's say a little here.
Say Chinese,
say-
干杯,
How do you say?
干杯
What's that mean?
means cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
干杯.
Alla salute in Italian. Alla salute. Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for allowing us to come into your home. I appreciate the fact that that you allow us to come in and we talk, and maybe you picked up a couple,
Ideas.
traditions and things that they do in different countries. So until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Grazie. How do you say